Hello, hello.
What is going on?
Halister, it's been far too long, my friend. Why have you kept me away from Twitter?
I know, I'm just like, I talk so much on there, I'm just like, get away.
I think we should be live on YouTube. I just have to check the levels.
We are, man. That music, that intro music is fire.
Yeah, I thought it makes it up without getting screwed on the royalties. I will. I'll be.
No
be sure.
DMCA.
Oh, of course not. No, we don't do that. I'll be sure to. I'll send you a link. It's the exclusive in-flight CitadelAir Max.
I'm gonna have to book a ticket for my next travel needs.
There we go. Sorry, the captions were. They always annoy me. Anyway, before I go on to my tirade, how's life? What's good in the market today for you, buddy?
Ooh. Not much too good in the market today for me. But I guess as a whole, we saw a decent recovery off of Friday, which was absolutely terrible. We've got what is it? The the Omicron variant seems to have messed a lot of things up. But I don't know. I'm not so sure. I've been thinking a lot, and I'm actually thinking about writing an article maybe for the magazine on something like this going into January. But I don't know. As I see these news cycles, I just think I think there's a little bit of a rotation beginning from growth to value, and that might include some cyclicals. And I think like a lot of what we're seeing in the news and what we've seen like kind of during this earnings season are just I don't want to say excuses to sell, but I think it's kind of a way of masking intentions a little bit in terms of what some of the big boys are trying to do. But I don't know. It's creating opportunities. There are some things that I've been holding for a while. I've been wanting to buy more, but the price wasn't right. But we're getting to the point where maybe the price is right again. So we shall see.
What were you? You were all over. Was it MT, the European steel? That was quite the impressive dip for you to buy in, buddy.
Yeah, I think so. They're at the bottom of a channel. Cleveland Cliffs is another one. I followed steel for a while. I've talked about it a little bit on here, but I know it's not. It's one of those things. Steel is the definition of a cyclical. It has tended to hurt people in the past, especially when prices start to drop, which the hot roll coil, like U.S. Midwest, like that has started to drop a little bit. But just with everything we've got with infrastructure, with like automotive demand kind of spring loaded, with everything that's going on with China and their, cutting production of steel, I think there are a few valid arguments for a super cycle there, but yeah, Cliffs is another one that I've talked about a lot, and there's been some big insider buys. Well, I shouldn't say big, but there's been some insider buying open market on Friday and then again today by a couple of their executive vice presidents, which, I always see that as bullish, right? Like we look at a lot of these stocks, like others I follow, like a Palantir or something like that. You've got execs and directors executing options for, pennies on the dollar, and then offloading a lot of those into the market. Meanwhile, you've got these guys buying in the open market. So I think they certainly see something coming. I'm excited as to what that might be.
I mean, not financial advice, of course. Any speculation?
Well, I mean, I think they've been talking a lot, like Cliffs in particular. I mean, their big thing is paying down their debt because they've had a lot of debt on their balance sheet. Like they paid dividends a couple of years back, but they cut those out a little before COVID times. But yeah, I mean, I think it could be an opportunity to close out some of that debt early. I mean, their free cash flow is insane relative to historical levels right now. I mean, they're really just kind of printing money at this point. But I mean, there's some others. I mean, I don't know. They have some challenges. I mean, they're not quite as established maybe as like a Steel Dynamics or a U.S. Steel, or maybe not just as popular of a name, probably due to their balance sheet. But I mean, they're a company which, I don't want to shill them too much here, but they used to be a miner, right? It was like Cliffs Natural Resources. They were an iron ore miner that had a couple huge acquisitions in 2019, and at this point, they recently announced like an acquisition of a scrap company, which is going to be big in steel because when you think about a lot of the green initiatives and the what do you call it? I can't believe I'm forgetting this. The ESG, yeah, environmental social governance. There's a lot of pressure to go green. So scrap is a big part of that because you don't have to use as much coal, like coking coal in the steelmaking process. You don't have to use pig iron, which is dirtier. You just you use a lot less raw iron, and you introduce the scrap to the process. So anyway, I think there's a lot going for them. I mean, it's an interesting story, interesting run. They're getting close to the bottom of the channel, and we had these insider buys in the high 21s late last week, and now they're just under 21 now. So
Right on. First strike. What brings you in, my friend? I suspect his microphone is busted again.
yeah, I think that happened last time. Uh-oh, this is not creating the love between him and the Twitter Spaces. I can feel it.
There has never been much love between him and Twitter.
Can you hear me now?
I'll be patient. Yeah, yeah, dude. Right. Clear as Verizon. Go ahead, man.
Dude, this Twitter thing, I tell you, sometimes I have to use my headphones, sometimes I don't. I don't get it. That's so weird. But I know another company that had a recent insider buyer.
I think I have a guess.
Are you talking about the private placement memorandum, the direct, the DPO CitadelAir LLC is doing?
No. Talking about my favorite stock, of course. MMAT. Two insider buyers just recently. One bought at 373, and I can't remember what George Palakowers, he bought some, and I believe he may have exercised some options or something. But yeah, MMAT insider buyers. I'm still very bullish on MMAT.
Which well, considering that, what was my dollar cost average after you were done with me? It was around 16, and then I had to average down. After what was it? I don't forget what it was. After the reverse split that you conned everyone into, and then next thing I know,
Hey, dude. Yeah, well, the reverse split / fuckery was not. We weren't ready for that, I guess. But lesson learned, okay? And just keep holding because it's going to be worth way more than $16. Plus, you got like a bunch of preferred shares, right?
That I do. Not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. Trust but verify, etc., etc.
Oh, and they're in like they like belong in like every sector. Semiconductors, medical, George Palakaris just put out a tweet actually with all the stuff that they're in. Consumer devices, 5G, electrical vehicles. They touch a little bit of everything. It's the future. Solar panel, solar, green
It's
energy.
definitely one worth looking at for sure. And so on that one, like you're definitely talking about like a long term hold, right? Like I think we've talked a little bit about Meta before, and you're thinking like what, like 10 years, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think if you buy here, I think it's trading at like 370. I think it got down to like threes here during the earnings call, but it likes this 380. It likes to stay like right around 380 right now. But yeah, I would be scooping up shares right here for the future for sure. I tell people this is like my retirement stock, but I also remind people this is a short squeeze play as well. This stock could go crazy, based off the preferred shares and a few other things. So, George has always put it out there that he doesn't like the shorts, and he's just waiting. He's not waiting, but things will come out eventually, and I see the stock moving forward, up in the future. I don't think it's going to take very long for us to start hitting double digits, 6 months, something like that or less. And then I think it's going to, the warehouse that they're building should be done early next year. I think before second half. So, yeah, I see a lot of positive things happening, and the nanotech acquisition, I think, moved them forward even faster. So I think they're ready. But that's, if you guys want to talk other stuff, obviously I'm not just an MMAT and that's all I know. It's just I have a lot of faith in that company.
Yeah, well, they're definitely getting. They're getting back down there to where I've been looking too. So.
Yeah.
What's up, Dave?
Could have logged in at like right after earnings, dude. That would have been the time to buy.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, David.
Is MMAT, that's the one with the special dividend?
Yeah, it has preferred shares. It was when Torchlight merged with Meta Materials, they gave out a dividend. Yeah, that's the same one that I have been preaching for like 8 months.
Have they determined the special dividend yet or not yet? They're still selling the stuff.
They're still selling the stuff, and there's a potential for a spinoff, which I don't think is a terrible thing. But everybody. There's people out there thinking it's going to be a $20 dividend. George Palakaris, the CEO, actually put out $1 to $20 range for the dividend, so it could be anywhere in between there. I'm honestly, conservative side. I'm thinking like 3 to 5, and higher side, I'm thinking like 12 to 15.
I apologize if I asked you this before, but you already the date of record for that special dividend is already passed, or it's in the future?
It's already passed, but you can actually buy. And I'm not saying to go do this because I'm not. One of the Torchlight CEOs or presidents or whatever said that it was real. You can actually buy OTC preferred shares with MMTLP is the ticker. You can actually go in there and buy, which is pissing a lot of people off because they held through the dividend and then they got smoked because the stock dropped significant amount of money, or price. But yeah, you can actually go buy preferred shares. And I believe, what's his name? Ed Berta actually confirmed it on Twitter that it's actually like a real thing. It's not like going to disappear, even though I feel like it's messed up. So I don't recommend buying MMTLP. But yeah, you can.
And that would get you the dividend even though you bought after the record date or the date of record?
Yeah, to my knowledge, that's what I've been told, but I'm not 100% on that, and I don't know where you can find the information to be 100% sure. OTC is a scary place to be.
Sure.
I've definitely traded OTC plenty of times and made some really good money, but that's after a lot of DD on a company. I can't really do DD on a preferred stock that
Right.
How do you?
some
It's really
instrument that you're unfamiliar with?
right. Like my whole thing is like, how did they implement it to start trading? Like it's a dividend. So how do you start trading a dividend when, so it's confusing to me. And maybe somebody in the group or in the space can actually answer that question better than I can. But yeah, you can go purchase them online or through OTC if you have the correct brokers to buy OTCs, obviously.
So I actually was on another space just now and kind of getting ready to go to sleep, or at least get off for the night. And I saw CitadelAir in here, and I saw the title. I don't know if I'm guessing you've gone through it completely.
Oh no, sir. We have not. I was just doing a soft open before I delve. It's not going to be a deep dive into it. I can only do a since the phase 1 is now over and now it's phase 2 is being kicked into gear. I was just going to give a cursory overview, explain some of my recent absences, what Citadel alleged, what they're suing me for, what they want, what they think they're going to get, and what's on the horizon over the next 2 to 4 months. 2 to 4 weeks.
We're all ears.
Yeah, definitely. This is gonna be my bedtime story.
I mean, if you want me to actually send you the 150-page filing, that was just
3 pages of that. By the time I got to the end of that, it would be the 2 to 4 weeks. If I just read like 2 pages each night before falling asleep, that's already 70 days.
Yeah. Well, you don't sleep anyway, so although
lately I stayed up all night to get my tickets. That's why I didn't get my tickets till like 4:00 in the morning last night.
But I didn't see your space open with you snoring, so
yeah, I wasn't the host. I've gotten smarter because this way, like, somebody can just drop me if I start snoring.
Prove or ban. That's all I'm gonna say. I am actually going to refill my coffee before I delve into this, so I'm going to defer to Halister. Dave Kringle's here. He can come up and speak, and he would love to hear this and keep you all entertained for all of 2 minutes.
Fair enough. What do you put in your coffee?
Black with sugar, man.
All right, easy peasy.
Keep it easy.
I didn't even recognize Kringle. Hey, what's going on?
Meow.
Meow. Meow, 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 meow. When did you switch your profile picture?
Oh, experimenting, I guess. A few days ago.
Looks good. Something different. Getting on the NFT thing.
Yeah, I've been making my own, just figuring out how to mint one. Well, actually, I'm minting like 99 of them, so I'm putting on the Ethereum marketplace, just figuring this shit out.
Very cool.
Kringle, when do I get one of these fantastic NFTs I've heard so much about?
Oh, it's going to be released in 2 and 3 days on the marketplace. It's going to be on OpenSea.
Which is great for the general public, but like, you and I have a thing. So when's my early release VIP platinum champagne room party?
I think you have to have a cat.
I did inherit my mother's cats. Does that count?
The owner is your mom, not you. So.
Well, no, if he inherited them, then they're his.
I don't think so.
Inherited is the operative word, my friend.
Have you ever gotten scratched by a cat?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kringle beats me up all the time.
No, I mean legitimately in real life.
Yeah, I'm actually super allergic.
So there you go. You should get 2. Just one for the scratches and one for the allergies.
Well, I know where to attack.
All he's got to do is spread his dander around and you're done.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the amount of air filters around this house is ridiculous. But what we do for the ones we love, right?
Absolutely.
Halister sent me a message. Apparently his Twitter died, so he may or may not reappear at some point.
I still see him.
I still see him too. Oh wait, this is the co-host thing where I have to remove him from co-host and then re-add him, right?
Yeah, but depending on how many times you added him, you might not be able to add him again. But if you haven't added them more than like once or twice, you should be all right. I think it lets you do it 5 times or something.
You would know because I mean you are the guru of all things Twitter space.
I hit that the other night on a really long call, the 28-hour call, where the co-host kept getting dropped down, and I would add them back, and then all of a sudden just would not let me add back the same people. I can add anybody else, but I couldn't add back the 2 people that had already been co-hosts.
All right, I think we're back. I
right.
I heard you guys talking to Kringle, and I was like, "What? Kringle's not even up here." And I'm like, "Uh-oh." I was like, "Yeah, I'm having this issue where I'm gonna sound like an asshole if I'm talking over people, so I got to get this thing fixed."
Oh, he was here. You probably just didn't recognize his profile picture. No, okay, sure. that was my confusion when I got up here.
That and there was a Hot Pockets as well in there, so that may have been confusing.
The beeping of the microwave might have, shorted him out.
Yeah, coffee is code for Hot Pockets, in case you didn't know. So just putting that out there. I see that Kenna has joined us as well.
Hey guys.
He takes his Hot Pockets hot and sugar, black and sugar. That must be the morning French toast pocket.
That's horrible.
Hey,
Kenna, how are you?
I am good. I just had a really awesome interview with Jackson, so it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
how's he doing?
He is good. He is a beast, guys. Like, I cannot wait for this interview to come out with him. Like, so I did get permission to release the audio to everybody, and then I'm going to write up a really awesome thing for him for the magazine. But he's a fascinating person. Other than that, this is not about Jackson tonight, guys. This is what have you covered? What have I missed?
We've been just covering some broad market things and killing time until like Halister could get his act together and Kringle could figure out how to like speak English and not meow like a cat. And First Strike actually got his microphone to work, so we were actually celebrating that momentous occasion.
Holy crap!
Yeah, let's go. Woo!
I can't begin to tell you right now, Citadel. I just went to my homepage. You know how there's sponsored ads, right?
Yeah.
And I have not gotten this, and I haven't talked about it with anybody else. Audi comes up right now.
Dude, I'm still getting the Pirelli snow tires and Porsche. A ridiculous amount of Porsche ads.
It's craziness. It's really nuts.
I think that was off a thank you care of Discord that somehow fed into Twitter.
It's nuts.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, that whole conversation was on Discord. You're right.
Conspiracy for another day.
Yep.
So yeah, all we've talked about is Halister's steel stocks, and of course, I've pitched MMAT, of course. So that's all.
Well, I'm glad I didn't have to miss anything good because I wanted to be here when CitadelAir talked about the Gucci juicy news of his whole thing.
Yeah, he's just about ready to begin, I believe, because David said he's ready for bed, and this is supposed to be his bedtime story.
Well, then I will shut up. Please, CitadelAir.
by all means, I did offer to send him their 150-page complaint.
It got 10 pages longer since the last time you mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean, it's let's be honest. It's Citadel, man. What do you expect? It was quite literally. It was the spaghetti principle: throw everything against the wall, see what sticks. In which they didn't actually believe or expect me to have attorneys that were capable of responding and throwing their arguments in a dumpster, pouring kerosene on it, and then lighting the whole thing on fire, wheeling it down the street all the way from Boston to Chicago. No lost love there. I guess I'm cleared to speak unless anyone, if anyone has questions, please feel free to. I said AMA. I'm limited in some capacities of what I can and can't say because the first part's over. The second part has yet to begin, but I'm limited in some capacity. But I'm a lot more as of the filing I received today. I am liberated to a larger extent on what I can say.
So this is like intermission, basically, between Act 1 and Act 2.
This is basically, we had entered into arbitration and because despite a slam dunk, cogent, coherent, logical, pragmatic, well-filed, executed legal argument, the panel said, nope, the Constitution doesn't apply, and threw every case precedent out the window and said, Kenny G's the man. So arbitration didn't work, which was the easiest, generally, starting point, and I was hoping to come to an amicable resolution as we kind of informally were able to before on a certain subject matter that they requested I not post, which is now moot and fair game. So they've left me with no recourse except to open a case in federal court, and that's why the title of this space is Citadel Air, technically LLC, v. Citadel LLC, related entities, CETM Holdings LLC, KP Holdings LLC, which is Kenny, and related entities. So I actually have to sue them in federal court to protect myself, my intellectual property, and a myriad of other things. Follow me so far?
So how did it go from them essentially telling you to stop to you having to sue them to stay or to keep it?
They didn't, I mean, it wasn't so much a stop. Apparently it took them 3 months or so, it looks like, to track me down. And my holding company to actually serve the complaint. That was back on October 19th. Let me see. There's a ridiculous amount of paperwork, but basically what they're coming after is they're saying, they're not claiming any defamation or slander or libel because anything and everything I have said or posted is A, factual or true, or B, is considered fair use under parody law. Fairly straightforward, cut and dry. Third, I own the name Citadel Air. Like, it is mine. I own it. So I'm well within my rights to use it as I see fit. It's been speculated by multiple people, and myself included, that this is a way, because my Twitter account was shut down briefly on 2 separate occasions, and I had to send documents into Twitter to say, no, I own the name. It is, in fact, not a fraudulent Citadel Securities account. I do not represent Citadel Securities. I'm merely Citadel Air, a pilot that flies Kenny. But nonetheless, they are claiming that I, in fact, do not own the name, that I am using the name in bad faith, that I am monetizing the name, that I am confusing consumers with a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund and an airline. So when they Google Citadel and Citadel Air comes up, I'm confusing their customers. And their customers are coming to my website or my Twitter account. And for some reason, they're confusing my parody account and CitadelAir.com with Citadel Security. So they're looking to send Kenny money, and apparently Citadel's claiming they're sending the money to me. Kicker is, I've never accepted a dime from anyone. Not YouTube, not Super Chats, not Facebook, Instagram, any social media. I've not accepted a dime. My website has not been monetized. Twitter has not been monetized. Whatever's on the Bull House, not a penny has gone to me. So that completely debunks their article. If that makes any sense thus far.
Well, it does and it doesn't. It makes sense in terms of the way you're telling it. I wouldn't say that it makes sense, but
I'm with you here. I'm with you here. So basically, they filed a complaint, and we opted for arbitration. And this was after it took them several months to go find me, October 19th. So this has been going on since pretty much October 19th. And the reason why I had kind of scaled back on some of my postings and activity online on the advice of counsel, though I admit no wrongdoing, I just thought it was in everyone's best interest is to not like stoke the flames. I was being polite and respectful, had taken a little bit of a hiatus from posting memes and other things. That obviously all changed around Thanksgiving, and I just kind of kicked things back into gear. So basically, what they're coming after is they're saying no. It's a ill intent, a misuse. I'm using I'm using the name CitadelAir in bad faith. I'm monetizing it, and that apparently they believe that anything that's a suffix after Citadel belongs to them. Surprising. In a roundabout way, circling back to the speculation by a bunch of different people, is it's a way to silence the parody account, the Twitter account, because largely the Twitter account stands because I own the name. I've been suspended twice. I've sent the information into Twitter. Twitter has reviewed it, said I am in fact do own the name, and they've reinstated my account. So despite their efforts, the fine counsel at Citadel could not get my account, banned, suspended, etc. Because there was no wrongdoing. I have not violated the terms of service, their privacy policy, et cetera, et cetera. So their logical step was, okay, well, if we sue him for his intellectual property and take the name from him, then we can actually shut down his Twitter account. The memes will stop, the parodies will stop, et cetera, et cetera. It's akin to, as we've all seen on various social media outlets, the letters that went out, that Cat had organized for the airplanes that were flying different banners, the cease and desist letters, et cetera, et cetera. It's akin to that. It's squelching free speech. They want, it's clear that they want the account shut down, and the only way that they can do that is to forcibly take my intellectual property, and to get a court to do so, and that's pretty much what they've aimed to do. That's what they tried to do, and today that's what they actually convinced a panel. The arbitration panel today, they convinced that indeed it is their intellectual property, that I shouldn't have it, and it should be awarded to Citadel LLC, CETM Holdings LLC, and KP Holdings. So I need to give up my Twitter, my domain, my trademark, et cetera, in 10 days. All of that is going to Citadel. Because the panel, in a very irregular finding, said that CitadelAir is confusingly similar to complainant's Kenny. Kenny's a registered trademark. The respondent, me, I have established no rights or legitimate interests in the intellectual property of what is known as CitadelAir. And the respondent, me, has registered and is using the name in bad faith. Furthermore, they say that there is, quote, not an iota of parody, unquote. I'll say that again. There is not an iota of parody, unquote.
They're saying your parodies suck.
That may be the case. I will take criticism. I welcome it. I roast away. But to say that there's not an iota or modicum of parody, please.
Yeah, I agree. It seems weird.
I would argue that the videos get a ridiculous amount of views, and people wouldn't follow and send messages like, saying they nearly pissed their pants at work if there was not parody, right?
But this is a nonsensical world.
It is very much a nonsensical world. There was a lot of confusing things as to the panel's findings, a lot of irregularities. So I can't really go into at the moment, but there were a lot of irregularities where my attorneys immediately said, no, we need to go to federal court immediately because this is absurd. They completely ignored First Amendment rights. They completely ignored fair use parity. They completely ignored all. They said the Twitter account was irrelevant, for some reason, and it was somehow not connected with any of the intellectual property. And the kicker is, I just find it amusing that I am familiar with the law firm they're using. I know what they charge, and they're spending $1,000 an hour to deal with CitadelAir.com bullshit. So, to me, that says that something's getting under their skin. Maybe I'm doing something right. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But should anyone, I'm not able to, in an easy fashion with my computer, which I had to get replaced, throw this up on the screen on YouTube, but in the coming day or so, I will be publishing the complaint, our response, their response, our final response, and then the findings. And there's a lot of it's hard to encapsulate because it's been going back and forth for so long, and it's so absurd, and it's an affront to the legal and justice system. And I'm not just saying that because I lost. It was a slam dunk First Amendment, fair use, parity, own the name. There's no bad faith. There's a whole bunch of cornerstones that basically say, in order for me to violate even any of these rules. I would have had to do X, Y, and Z, which I did none of. The cornerstone is which monetization. Which one of their hedge fund customers was looking to get their statement? They went to, and they ended up at CitadelAir.com and they booked a flight. Most conclusively, the panel found that my bad faith use of Citadel Air, the name, basically they said that I'm not running a parody account. There's that iota of a parody, no iota of parody, that Citadel is entitled to my name because I am indeed a competitor, even though they're a hedge fund. I'm a business competitor because I am legitimately running an airline. I kid you not.
So, did you get Kenny's Mayo a settlement?
That's not on the table yet. That's not on the table. I can ask for it.
Can you ask him to cover his shorts?
Oh, actually, in in arbitration, it's a little bit easier to get away with some witty repartee. I'd have to speak to counsel to know how witty we can get in some of the filings, but it can certainly be asked. For example, my preliminary statement was the complainant Citadel LLC and its trademark holding company, as well as KP Holding, which is Kenny, is an American multinational hedge fund and financial services company. It is one of the largest hedge funds in the world, and its billionaire CEO, founder, Kenneth Griffin, has been listed as the 45th richest person in the United States, see Annex 1. Despite the many billions in his personal fortune, Mr. Griffin will not brook any attempts at humor, no matter how successful, concerning himself, his company, or his pilot. It has been speculated that this is due to a chronic medical condition called thin skin or lacking a sense of humor. Like I said, we had a little bit of fun with the opening, but sandwiched in between some of the humor were more case law that would put David to sleep in about 30 seconds. that's why I was like, this is open and shut. This is not my first rodeo with an IP issue, and nothing has been more clear cut. Not just in my mind, but in in my general counsel, who I use for a number of business things, and then the IP firm that I've done some work with before. They said this was open and shut, and somehow the impartial arbiters decided that the Kenny deserves all my stuff.
Have you considered the name CitadelAir?
Oh, I have not. I like that though. It would be a slight name change. I'm not sure how Twitter would take it, but would that maybe filed tomorrow with the USPTO?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's more, but questions, comments, concerns. I don't know. I don't really want to go on too much of a diatribe and bore people.
Yeah,
I think everyone.
it's just insane. Like you said, I mean, for them to be so concerned about it, you must be doing something right. I mean, that would be the logical explanation. I mean, I know that. I mean, personally, whenever I'm looking for like a brokerage statement, that is the first place I go. I go to Twitter, and I start looking at my broker, and I try to send them. That's how I send them money. That's how I look for my statements. I mean, that's just what you do, right? I mean, what other way is there?
I mean, if there was a way for me to, there's not even a way to accept money on the PayPal. No PayPal, no Venmo. I mean, I suppose I could take your crypto, but we all know you fly for free, buddy.
That's insane. Get some DD done on the arbitration panel, maybe.
It's moot at this point. The arbitration panel's findings don't hold up in federal court, so I've moved on.
Yeah.
It's immaterial, and they can't actually even introduce it. As my understanding is, can't even be introduced as evidence for this defense. We can introduce it as the ridiculousness of what they've what they've asserted. But that's basically the gist of it, is that, like, let's think about this. The 45th richest person in America is going out of his way to shut down a guy in Boston with like 5,000 Twitter followers that puts out some videos that started in May and did it the right way, founded, bought the name, went through the proper channels, so I didn't get kicked and banned off Twitter and social media for as I had watched happen dozens of times to people that I started this Twitter parody account with, watching them having to go buy new devices because their device got blocked because they were ripping on Jim Cramer or something like that, and even though they had followed the proper protocol, saying they're a parody account. CitadelAir LLC is a legitimate business entity, but its content is parody and satire and fair game under the Parody Fair Use Act. And furthermore, there's no trademark infringement. To say that they own every suffix after Citadel is absolutely absurd, in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just the one. I'm just the one responding to litigation. And I could have let it go if I had just said, okay, fine, to the panel, and just said, the arbiters and told the attorneys today, well, fine, go ahead, whatever, let them take it. Don't care. In 10 days, it would have been theirs, and this would all be gone. On principle, it's overstepping, it's overreach. The panel ignored the fundamental, fundamental part of the Constitution about free speech, which is ironic given that Kenny owns a copy of the Constitution, but apparently it doesn't apply to him. And I think we actually said that in one of the briefs, actually. Give me a second to find that.
Well, it's one of those things. That's why, I mean, I've always been concerned with arbitration. I mean, you read like license agreements, like all those kind of things. I mean, a lot of them have some kind of arbitration thing, which apparently they don't have to pay much regard to the law. They just get to decide in a neutral and fair manner.
You said the word fair. Was that like a subtle wink? Was there a subtle wink when you said fair?
Yes.
Understood. Let's see. I don't know. If anyone has questions while I try to find it's a pretty dense filing. There's some witticism here that I had marked up, but if anyone has questions, or I can actually just stop talking about it, to be frank. It's been one of those days where everything just seems to kind of hit at once.
Yeah, we can talk about whatever, Citadel, if you're over.
No, I'm trying to be transparent and open book as much as I can be, because like I felt like I've been silenced the past 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it was, because although I was not required to be, I was just trying to be polite and respectful, and not stoke the flames, knowing that this was under review, but no one expected this outcome, and quite frankly, I never thought my First Amendment rights would be stomped on by silly me, a billion-dollar hedge fund. I mean, it's not every day that Kringle steps out and takes away any of my constitutional or civil rights. I mean, he only did that like twice, but he was kind enough to give me back my civil rights. In any event, that's basically the gist of it. I mean, in an executive summary, without going into like dense legalese, I will be publishing most of this, that unless there's some things that have to be redacted for privacy reasons, but these will most certainly be made publicly available to the fine people on Twitter, as well as anyone who decides to visit CitadelAir.com, because as soon as we file in federal court, there will be an injunction, and they can no longer take any of my intellectual property until a federal judge says otherwise. Oh, yeah. Here's one of the other things. They basically said that I was up to nefarious misdeeds because I used a proxy or privacy service on my domain name. They're basically saying that I was up to nefarious deeds and no good. But we cited in our response that, ironically, CEO Kenneth Griffin assiduously guards his own privacy. Flight manifests for private planes are required to be public. However, Mr. Griffin applied for and received permission to keep his flight manifest private. By complainant's own logic, he must be using his plane for some nefarious purpose, which is all the more reason why respondent must be permitted to exercise his free speech rights to mock and criticize Mr. Griffin.
Wow. Yeah, we haven't heard that one before. I mean, who needs privacy if you have nothing to hide, right? I mean, it's that simple, guys. There's really no need for it. I mean, the fact that you implement basic privacy controls, I mean, that must mean you're up to nefarious deeds, right?
Right, and like hiding where your plane, despite flight records and manifests being public record, you went to the FAA and said, no, I'm a VIP CEO. I need this to be private, and you made it not impossible but very difficult to track. And so, what nefarious misdeeds are you up to? I can only speculate.
Ugh, insane.
Yeah. Or in closing, I think this was lost on the panel. But in addition to a sense of humor, what seems lost on Mr. Griffin is that they bear the burden of proof under the policy, and there is no proof Citadel Air lacks rights or legitimate interest in the name, or that I, Citadel Air, have registered and used the name in bad faith. Citadel LLC, the complainants have now taken 3 bites at the apple. Basically, they took like 3 swings and they bungled it 3 times. And somehow the arbiters were like, it's cool, don't worry about it. We understood that you changed your story. You said A, and then you said filed B and said, no, 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 no. We didn't really mean A because we didn't actually think he had lawyers and we didn't think he was going to respond. So now we're saying B, and then we respond to B, and then they say, oh, just kidding. We really meant to say C. That's what they're getting at without dumping all 150 pages out. Furthermore, I was actually really hoping, like I had to do a signed declaration or affidavit, like affirming, various facts and statements, et cetera, et cetera. I had to sign it, date it, notarize it, et cetera. Kenny didn't even bother to do that. There was no signed declaration. There was no signed affidavit. So like a lot of their complaints should have been tossed. But I actually really wanted the signed complaint declaration affidavit. I would have framed that and put that up in the office. Maybe sold that on eBay. I'm not sure.
If you sold it on eBay, wouldn't that count as making money as Citadel Air?
Well, I mean, if I rolled over and just said, fine, they can take my IP, what does it matter?
True.
I'll go ahead and monetize it then. But I would just have been, happy to get his signature. But he couldn't even be bothered, or his attorneys couldn't even be bothered to get him to sign a declaration or affidavit, which should have been grounds for having this tossed out anyway. Which, unfortunately, you're forced to agree to arbitration before things escalate, which is I wouldn't have wasted my time otherwise. But such is life. In closing, we basically said the complainants would like the panel to ignore, Citadel Air's First Amendment and free speech rights, as if the complainants and its billionaire CEO are beyond reproach. Well, not under the U.S. Constitution. If anything, the complainant's supplemental filing supports finding that is guilty of basically reverse domain name hijacking or intellectual property theft. By their own filings, they incriminate themselves. Anyway, there is no such thing apparently as an impartial arbiter panel. So that pretty much sums up everything from what was the October 19th through this afternoon, and then we'll be moving forward accordingly. I won't disclose, just like I don't disclose my positions, I don't disclose a financial situation or why I'm throwing money at this, because most certainly the wife has questioned why I'm spending money on this. But to be absolutely frank, it's a matter of principle. And when my attorneys called me this afternoon, after they spent an hour quite perplexed as to the finding and trying to figure out on what planet this is even remotely possible, this finding, and it's not, I will publish this and you can draw your own conclusions, but their findings were absurd. But I know it's costing them far more money than it's costing me. And for some reason, I'm okay with that, just based on the principle that why should we allow, I'm going to say the 1%, but it doesn't matter if it's the 1% or anyone in particular, a company, your neighbor, the president of your homeowners association, why is it okay for them to step on your First Amendment rights? And I'm not waving the flag here, but quite literally, this is, at the end of the day, it's a free speech. It's parody. It falls within fair use. Quite literally, everything was done by the book, and Kenna will vouch, and that's when we first met. That's when she heard that story about why I followed such a systematic process of setting up what is Citadel Air to avoid the pitfalls. That's, I think, inadvertently how I became part of Bullhouse. But despite those safeguards, apparently everything I've created should belong to Citadel and their various entities.
Well, I mean, I forgot to bring this up, but you know, Citadel Air LLC might see a lawsuit from me for mental breakdown while you haven't been here, because you left without any warning, and I've been so worried about you.
I apologize for
That's not.
your butthurt feelings, but an apology, by the way, is not an admission of guilt. That being said, since I have not monetized Citadel Air LLC, you're welcome to sue as much as you want, but you can't get blood from a stone, my friend.
Yeah. Okay.
Next time I'm out your way, beers are on me. I got you. Don't worry.
I mean, you don't even know who I am anymore. You know that I don't drink.
Oh man, this is going downhill quick. Halister, bail me out. Someone, David, Kenna.
Well, we missed an RC tweet
Did we really?
a little while ago. Yeah, just right after we got started here. So I don't know. I haven't been able to decipher this one yet. He says, only interested in speaking with candidates who want to actually work.
I heard a Kringle meow. Maybe he has insight. It sounds more like a rant of the standard employer rant of no one wants to work. But, you know, I might be a pretty smooth brain after poring over legal documents for weeks.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't have this one yet. I think I just hit that like button. I think that's the way to go.
This is the way.
David, are you eating an apple? He's definitely eating an apple.
I really don't know what David's up to. I almost don't want to know. David, you may have to reboot your phone. It's or it's on fire. I'm not sure which, buddy.
Yeah.
But in short, that's all I got for now because I was frustrated that I wasn't able to talk about much of anything except make kind of allusions to various things. But
well, I'm glad that you put it out there, and now my feelings aren't.
I'm sorry. Say again, first strike.
I said my feelings aren't as hurt now.
I'm glad. Well, in all honesty, I was out for a number of days for medical reasons, but which just happened to coincide with time that I was taking off from Twitter anyway, unfortunately. But I am back, and well, all is good.
Yeah, you sound great. So whatever it was, I'm glad you got over it.
Yeah.
You didn't bring back from South Africa, did you? Did you go to South Africa?
No comment.
Oh, geez. First confirmed case of Omicron, Citadel Air.
Well, I mean, I gotta pump my my Moderna stock somehow, man.
You're supposed to tell us before you do something like that.
I told Kenna, and she made like $100,000. Why didn't she tell anyone?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, she's clearly not listening. She did not. There was no insider training, as far as I'm concerned, with Kenna. Anyway, Halister, what else we have on the dock, man?
Not too. What I mean, what was up with that short interest spike in GME today? I'm sure a lot of people saw that. I mean, it's apparently on FinViz and a lot of other places. It just the reported short interest just spiked from around that 10% range where it's been sitting up to like 80-ish. Wonder what to make of that.
Checked it.
Is it
I
is
mean,
it a
I haven't-
glitch? It might just be a glitch. I mean, these things happen.
I haven't even checked Ortex in a while for GME. I could jump in there real quick if you really wanted me to.
Yeah, but I still question like the reliability of half this data. I mean, we know that Ortex is skewed.
Right, 100%.
I didn't actually catch the spike today because I was out this afternoon, but so I can't speculate.
Yeah, I can't either. Yeah, and I mean it's all self-reporting, right? So, how true is the data anyway?
Yeah. No, I mean it's one of those things. I mean, yeah, like data quality reliability is a huge issue with all of this. I mean, I remember. I mean, it was months ago at this point where FINRA had some new like short reporting rules like open for comment. I think the comment period closed around the end of September, but I haven't really seen any new updates on that. But they were talking about making like published short interest data and published FTD data available more frequently, because right now, I mean, you get FTD reporting, I guess, bi-monthly, but it's trailing, right? So you get it every 2 weeks, but it's already 2 weeks old by the time you get it.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll have like a live, short interest and not like 2 weeks behind. That would be nice.
Kringle probably has it on its level 3 over there.
Meow.
I'm just kidding.
So what else do you guys want to talk about? Do you guys want to talk about any stocks? I got a couple stocks we could bring up.
I mean, I still like coin at 475. I mean, it's getting back up there. I'm getting really excited. I may no longer be a bag holder.
Didn't it IPO at like 370 or something?
Yes, sure, yeah.
And you're still bag holding?
Not at 475. That was what Jim Cramer said. He was like, I like coin at 475 on the day it IPO'd. I mean, I got it below the IPO price, but I would like it to continue to go up.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I know that there's people that bought the day of the IPO and things didn't go very well for them. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity to buy it below its IPO for a while, if I'm just guessing correctly.
Yeah, but I would have taken a substantial loss, and considering the loss that I took on MMAT, I was already maxing out my losses for the year, so I was not willing to do that again.
It's just an opportunity for capital gains. Okay, you could sell out, and you would be fine. Okay, just less taxes for next year.
Well, speaking of Kramer's calls, I saw something pretty interesting a couple days ago. I don't know if anybody else saw this one, but apparently People's Republic of China is asking Didi to delist from the NYSE.
I did see that as well. I was wondering if that was going to happen.
I did not see that, but I've been busy.
How many positions in Didi do you have, buddy?
Me? 0.
No, I was Didi's totally a first strike bet stock play.
Mm.
No, I am not playing any. I mean, I've been in and out of Neo, but currently not trading any Chinese stocks. And I don't recommend it as well, but that's not financial advice. I did hear something about gambling. I caught the back end of a news thing, and all the casino stocks went down or something. Anybody catch that?
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
I don't even like Wendy's.
I don't think I caught it though.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. This is
Somebody got laundering money or something, or I'm reaching. I like I said, I caught the back end of it, but yeah, there was somebody went to jail for something.
I mean,
That's all I got.
it'll probably be me in like a month. Don't worry about it. But no, I'm just looking at part of my portfolio here. Yeah, LVS took a hit today because they underperformed, but that Las Vegas Sands had nothing to do with money laundering or going to jail. It doesn't appear. So I don't know which sketchy casino that you're frequenting, buddy.
I want to say I heard something like Monaco or something like that. I don't know, but regardless, if nobody else knows about it, maybe I should move on to something else.
Yeah, I got nothing, man. The only
All right.
stock that I'm long in is LVS and have been for a while, but didn't catch anything else.
So, what else do you guys want to talk about? You guys want to talk about broader market stocks, or you guys want to talk about where we think where the market's going? What do you guys think?
I've got about 15 minutes left in me, so I will say dealer's choice to anyone on the panel, or if anyone wants to hop up, by all means.
Strick, you said you had something. You said you had a stock or two you wanted to talk about first, Strick. Let's hear it.
I was just looking at a few. I was looking at Twitter today. Right, Jack Dempsey, is that correct?
Dorsey, but yeah.
Sorry, yeah, stepping down. Twitter went up and then went down off the news. So I was kind of interested in maybe playing with Twitter. I think it might bounce back, but not 100% sure on that. But I listen to radio all the time while I'm driving around, and there are some people saying buy it and some people saying sell it. But it got pretty well whacked today.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard their new CEO looks to be quite the gem. You could check out some of Kenneth's tweets on this guy. But yeah, I'm just worried about tech right now. I just think the multiples on tech, like in general. I mean, like I said, I guess I'm more of a fundamental guy, which I know there's not a ton of fundamental folks around, but just the multiples on tech are just so insane. I'm just thinking about, like I said, the broad market, kind of the growth versus value mentality, and where I kind of see that going from a macro perspective. I would hesitate taking long positions on those kind of things at this time. But again, that's just me, not financial advice.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a lot going on with the Omicron, and every time I hear that, I can't get the Futurama thing out of my head.
Omicron per CIA.
Yeah, I just can't. It just doesn't leave me, dude. Do we go back to playing the stocks from the pandemic? Do we think that Omicron's not going to cause any problems? I mean, it's just so new. It's got to play a role, right, in the market. So do you go back to playing Nvidia and Microsoft and the FANG stocks, or are they just too overvalued? Are they just the I can't even think of the words I'm trying to speak right now, Halister.
No, yeah, it's tough. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's part of the. I mean, these news cycles. I mean, the stuff coming out light, right? I mean, it came out Thursday night, like right overnight. I mean, market tanks, and then over the weekend we hear, well, the symptoms aren't really that bad. Like it seems like it's relatively mild, and I think Biden spoke today. Like he said, no lockdowns. They don't have any plans for lockdowns. They don't have plans for U.S. travel restrictions. Even though, I mean, I've seen some things about restricting like incoming travel from certain places that are affected. But I mean, I don't know, the government stance on it anyway seems to be unchanged at this point. I mean, yeah, but it's tough to say. I mean, you never know. I mean, I guess my view from where I sit right now is that another lockdown here is unlikely. But you never know. I mean, I think, yeah, so I'm not a big fan of lockdown plays. I don't think we all go back to like Zoom and Peloton and those kind of things.
Right. I would agree with that. I mean, so yeah, the president said cause for concern, but not cause for panic, right?
Yep.
And then New York put out mass mandate, or not mass mandates, but
Yeah, like an advisory or something.
wherever, it doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not. So yeah, I mean, it just just one more thing to have to deal with while you're picking and choosing your stocks to play. Any thoughts on Disney?
Well, I mean, it's come down a lot, right? After this last earnings. I mean, it's basically been falling since then from what, like mid 170s to now it's like, where is it, like 146 ish or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's another one that their price to earnings is just through the roof. And I mean, I know that's not everything, but on pretty, like, if you look at their valuation ratios, because I've thought about Disney and I've looked at it a little bit, but I mean, I don't think so far, I mean, their streaming services aren't doing all that well.
Cancelled.
I know they had some, good news through the summer in terms of park attendance and all those kind of things. But I mean, depending on what you think is going to happen, like with the pandemic, that one could be risky. I don't know. I mean, it was kind of one of those crap articles I was reading about it, which, I mean, you never know. I mean, you know how how those things are. I mean, they've got to write something, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of Disney right now.
Well, seeing to like counter with that, I mean, I think Disney is both a pandemic play if something funny goes on with Omicron, and I also think that it's a reopening play as well. I mean, you've got the cruises, you've got the parks, you've got I mean, and there's more that they can do to bring in more subscribers, right? I mean, they own ESPN. They could turn that into, I don't know, like a gambling thing as well. Like I think there's a lot of plays that Disney could do to make themselves more revenue, and I think that they'll eventually get better subscribers. I mean, I wouldn't say buy Disney here. Maybe you could dip in a little bit, but I really like Disney, like at the 130s. But I like it both ways. I think that it's a good company. It's not going to go away, and like I said, I think it's a good reopening play as well. Eventually, we're going to learn we're either going to have all the therapeutics and pills and shots to take care of everything. I mean, Moderna and Pfizer today both put out that they're working diligently on getting, the next thing out for Omicron. And there was another company that just today said that their therapeutic or something worked for Omicron, but I don't remember the name of the company. I'm sure somebody saw it because I'm pretty sure the stock ran up today, but I don't know. Disney, I think Disney might be worth a shot, but like I said, I like it more at like 130 than I like it at 147.
Yeah, and it's tough to say. I mean, I'm struggling these days finding my plays because, like I said, I generally like to find some longer term stuff. I know there's a few of those we talked about a little bit, like at the beginning. I mean, one of the things I've been wanting to do really is start to run wheels. where, you sell puts to open the position. If you get assigned, then, now you have the stock, and then you sell calls against the shares you got assigned from the put. So you're basically earning premium on both sides on a stock that you don't mind owning. Of course, I just don't. Well, I think there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. I mean, one thing, just the watching the VIX is one thing that I've been doing over the last week or so, and I just couldn't believe it. So on Friday, the a UVXY $17 call was up a cool 42,000%. Now, obviously, that's one of those things when we talk about those. I mean, UVXY is a leveraged volatility index play. Like, it's definitely not something to be messing around with if you don't understand what you're doing. But I couldn't believe that was one of those I just looked at and I'm like, wow, 42,000% today. That's neat.
Well, and I mean, thinking about like retail, the news that I heard was retail was basically buying the dip on Friday. So it's like the market just not going to ever fall a large amount because of either one, retail buying it back up, or the market dropping so far that the hedge funds buy back in. Like do we ever see a major correction at this point because there's just so many people in the market now?
I mean, it's a fair question, but I mean, if you look at like the distribution of the money in the market, I mean, to me, that's what's really scary about it, is that you have so much of retail like buying these dips, and so it just allows that distribution to happen, over a period of time, like at a higher level, right? So let's say you are, a professional money manager, you have large positions that you want to unload. You can't do it all at one time because it would just tank the price, like theoretically. And so, you start distributing, you start unloading, like retail buys that dip back up. And then, then when something really hits the fan, that's where you really let loose, and retail's left holding all those bags.
Right. I mean, that's always like, that's like the whole point, right? It's us with bags.
Yep. I don't know. Interesting time. I don't know. From a broad market perspective, I'm more concerned now than I have been in a little while. But I mean, there's always plays.
Actually, I'll have to.
That sounds like
Halister, I will have to say I'm actually just as concerned, because I don't know if everyone saw the tweet, but like most of the markets actually crashed in the last couple of days globally. Did everybody see that?
You don't say.
Well, so
Did you see the news out of Germany, like what their central bank said?
it was. Let's see. Which one was it? Sorry, I posted too many pictures recently. Global stocks drop after countries impose Omicron related. So Tokyo, Hong Kong, South Korea, Australia, and then, as we know, China already declined, and I believe Germany was actually getting hit today pretty bad.
Yeah, their central bank, whether it was, I'm not sure if it was, I think it was Friday, maybe it was today. I remember reading that their central bank sent out this like press release about how badly skewed the valuations were in their housing market. I think they said it was a like quote specific vulnerability unquote. Don't hold me to that, but it was like something akin to that. As their like housing property prices continue to soar to like these astronomical amounts. So I always am a little interested when a central bank warns of overblown overblown real estate or property prices. But then again, what do I know?
it's just one of those. I'm still left with the question. What are the alternatives?
I
You
just found
do
the
have.
article.
Yeah,
I'm
go
sorry,
for it.
Alistair. Yeah, I found the article, and it said, what's a bit of a new development, at least in Germany, is that these overvaluations are more systemic. So they're not just isolated to big cities or urban areas where traditionally they are. In Germany, it appears that 90% of the households expect the prices to keep increasing. So it's not isolated to just your cities and urban areas. It's outside, which is actually more alarming, I think, in retrospect.
Well, yeah, because I was totally changing my daughter, so I kept like taking breaks. Yeah, no, because I mean, you figure usually the rural areas usually don't get hit too hard with different like major ups or downs with housing prices. I mean, at least in the States, that's not a thing usually. Um, so the fact that Germany's having that's kind of insane. But I mean, because is Germany going? Because Germany's one of them that's looking at lockdowns, right? Because I think it was, what was it? Germany, Austria, Australia, Japan just closed its borders to foreign travelers. And I believe like was it 6 or 7 other countries just closed their borders too? Does anyone
That's
remember?
not a problem for anyone that has cash and would like to fly in Citadel Air. I can get you anywhere you want to go. Just don't ask any questions. But that is aviation advice. Please continue.
Oh Lord! But I mean that is right. Am I correct in that? Is it 6? I think it was 6 or 8 total countries shut their borders down. So I don't know. Like it's an interesting time because and this is so if we're talking about this, so the Omicron variant. Oh my God! So originally it was deadlier than Delta, and then now Fauci has come out and said something that I saw an article about it. Um, that we need to take all measures possible, but then at the very bottom it says we don't think lockdowns and shutdowns or things like that is absolute right now. And then somewhere in the article said that it had mild side effects or something. Like there's just so much conflicting information. So like I don't know exactly which country's believing what information. So maybe we should try to
Well,
dial that in. Maybe.
I mean, even the stuff coming out of South Africa was contradictory within 24, 36 hours. First
Yeah.
of all, it was like, oh my God, don't worry, it's fine. Okay, well, symptoms are mild. Oh, hey, by the way, we're reporting 0 hospital admits for this variant. And no one really appreciated my response, questioning, like, well, how many admits to the morgue did you have? But that's
That's terrible.
sorry, more morbid physician humor. But in all honesty, there's such conflicting information, and I honestly don't. I mean, short of New England Journal of Medicine, for personally, I don't know where to get this reliable information because.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Actually, being our resident doctor, um, what are you doing? Like, how do you approach that?
In what regard? Like
Like,
infectious disease is not my specialty, but
well, I know, but like, if you have patients that ask you questions, like, I mean, especially with all these variants, not to mention they missed over, one of the Greek alphabet, whatever. But I mean, how did we even get to Omicron? Like, I haven't even heard about the other ones. Like, the last one I really heard about was Delta. So, did I miss something?
I had a similar question, but I mean, I think I don't have the finite answer because I haven't delved into it. I've been a bit preoccupied, but my assumption is that there obviously it's a virus. It mutates. Generally, as a virus mutates, it becomes less and less harmful on each mutation. So
I love that you said that.
um, so not medical advice, not financial advice, but just common science knowledge or infectious disease, you're more than welcome to fact check me, please. But that's the as Halister would say, the generally accepted accounting principle of virology. So I don't have the exact answer, Ken. I apologize.
No, that's fine.
Because I've been like literally out, but and have not been at work for a little while. But I suspect that maybe has something to do with it. Because someone asked me today, and my only witty response that I had was, I'm sure they follow like the tropical storm thing, so they must have just been a few smaller, things we didn't know about. Like, but I would be happy to check for you and report back first thing.
Well, I mean, it's just part of my research too, which I know I'm gonna have to have you peer review just so it doesn't show any kind of biasness. I don't know. I mean, I just go back to Fauci's emails, that not massive file I sent you. So there's something not being said. Damn it! We need the quiet part out loud. Sorry.
Well, I also know that like it can mutate hundreds of more times. You know, it's not like an infinite number it can mutate, but I mean, I know that that's a possibility as well.
Mhm.
But with Citadel's, it can't. With each one, it doesn't give place.
Anonymous C-SPAN lover in YouTube says that the Lambda made the news, but it didn't do much. So apparently it's either off our radar here in the States and it's, partying down in South Africa. But I didn't even see it on the news. And granted, I have not been in for a couple of weeks, nor have I ever been up on my email.
Oh,
but
well, that was actually, I do remember that vaguely, and it was like 2 months ago.
I mean, shouldn't Greece be upset here that we're just like bastardizing their alphabet with this stuff? I mean,
You would think. But I mean, we do it with hurricanes, so.
yeah, but we're not naming them after the Greek alphabet, though.
Well, no, really. Like, I mean, like, you go through the Greek alphabet after, we do. So, hurricane season, you don't actually use all 26 letters. Like, they only use, like, I think, like 21 or something.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. And so, no,
we have like one hurricane every 7 years up in the New England. Okay, so just bear with me.
Last year, we actually got almost all the way through the Greek alphabet. Like, we went all the way through the traditional hurricane names, and then we got through. Oh gosh, it was the record. It was a record hurricane season. Like, we almost went through the entire Greek alphabet.
Was there a Hurricane Karen?
Maybe actually, I think we've had it. Hold on.
Because she'll be calling you first thing tomorrow from HR. So.
Oh, probably.
I think there's always a Greg and a Karen.
Yeah, we had 13 total hurricanes last year. But there was there were multiple like tropical storms and things. 30 named storms. There it is.
I'm sorry. Someone, Mike Towels from YouTube just cracked me up. He goes like, "Man, it can't mutate more. We're running out of Greek letters."
Yeah. So okay. So last year for hurricane season we got through to iota. So we had alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, and iota. So we almost, we surpassed with COVID now and the amount of Greek names we're using. Yes, we had 30.
Kenna, would you say there's not an iota of parity?
I was about to say you can't talk to CitadelAir about iota today. No, not today.
Oh, is this his word today? Is he stuck on it?
I'm long on the word iota.
Were you not here for that part?
I was eating. No, I was.
Oh, no, that's the panel said that there is not, quote, an iota of parity, unquote, with regards to anything related to my intellectual property. Like, there was no parity to be found. Not an iota. No joke.
Oh Lord! And 2019, there was Tropical Storm Karen.
Did she ever leave, or is she still there?
She went through the Lesser Antilles, Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. So I'm gonna guess she kind of left.
She mutated into a person.
She muted.
That's why she's in HR at the Bull House, and I'm getting paid, and you're not.
Probably.
For corporate, no, you're not getting paid.
Say again?
You're not getting paid. Remember?
No,
for
my
all legal,
off,
for all
my
legal
off,
represent.
no. My offshore shell company in the Caymans is getting paid. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's perfect. It's perfectly legal. It's laundered through a casino in Vegas.
Well, okay. Can we take it? Am I allowed to say something about when they started looking for you? Can we talk about that for a second because of where the address of Citadel Air is?
Oh, I forgot about that. No, please. I'll let you tell you.
No, because you can do it so much better because I only have secondhand. I want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth again because it was just brilliant. Because so you tell. So where's Citadel Air located?
Oh God, I think it's like, what is it, 33 Hirsch Road now? Hold on, I forget, and it's I have to pull up the original. I don't have the original complaint in front of me, but long story short, so the what is on CitadelAir.com is like basically a placeholder, and I've been working on it, and it was gonna actually have like live like where's my Kenny, all this other stuff, but because I was trying to be respectful of privacy and security and didn't want to be responsible for someone doing something stupid, I kind of put that on hold. So just the placeholder website's there. However, there is contact information, on CitadelAir.com, so you can send like a message. You can sign up for some sort of Citadel Air newsletter if one existed. But at the bottom, it's got the link to Twitter, copyright 2021, Citadel Air, all rights reserved. And then our address is Citadel Air, 33 Hurst Road, Savannah, Grand Cayman, Cayman Islands, KY1-1102. Now, what in the original complaint that they sent over, and the reason why it was so long is because they had so many exhibits. They either sent an investigator down or used a local investigator in the Caymans and sent someone out to 33 Hurst Road, Savannah, Grand Cayman, Cayman Islands, and filled out an affidavit, and they took a bunch of pictures, and they signed a declaration or affidavit affirming that there was no building or business operating at 33 Hurst Road with the name Citadel Air. Now,
love it.
they even included like a little Google map, a little aerial photo, and what are the photos that whomever the investigator was that took the photos, and like the dude screwed up. He went to the wrong address. He was at like 31 or 35 or whatever. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head. Don't hold me to it, but it was a few digits off. He ended up at the equivalent of like a Quickie Mart or like 7-Eleven shopping center. But if he had really gone to 33 Hurst Road in Savannah, Grand Cayman, that's the address of Grand Cayman's National Bank, headquarters of Citadel. And they completely missed that. That's what you're looking for, right, Kenna?
That was exactly what I was looking for because I thought that was hilarious. One, they screwed it up. Two, they hired somebody to go take pictures of it and look into it, and they still fucked it up.
Yeah, no. I'll publish it. There's an affidavit and declaration with a map and a Google like overview and other photos of this person saying that I affirm that there is no business in operation, and this, and it's like a shopping center. There's like a coffee shop and like a convenience store and I don't know, like a Burger King or something, and like you can kind of see off in the distance that like less than like 20 feet to the right is Grand Cayman's National Bank headquarters, like the address of Citadel Air on the website as a joke. Like our privacy policy says, we have none, period. Like, terms and conditions, HODL, period. This is the way. Like, clearly there's some parity, but it's the nuance is lost on the boomers.
Well, you know what probably happened is they probably got to the actual address and they're like, oh, so sorry. They probably got to that address and they were like, this can't be right at all because this is not that at all. We're gonna take a random picture of a Quickie Mart.
I mean, they probably did not want to allegedly photo where Kenny's bank is. So I understandable, completely understandable. I mean, Halister even started sweating when I rolled that name out, and I could just hear it through the phone call that he was just like sweating, thinking that I was going to out him and all of his like offshore assets that he. Oh, hey, Halister, what's going on, bud?
Mm, mm.
You guys are terrible.
Oh dear. In any event, it's getting to be that time of night for me. So I can pass the torch on. I don't know if anyone else has any other business, fun factoids, questions, comments, concerns. If
I can just say that I'm currently like 2 hours away from home, and I'm sitting at a drive-in just so I could be here for you, buddy.
that means
That's some dedication. Wow.
that's some dedication. Can I qualify this further, buddy? Like I know you live out in like Bumble Town. Is this a drive-in movie theater?
No, this is Clark's drive-through in Meeker, Colorado.
All right, so we'll give the fine folks at Clark's in Meeker, Colorado, a shout out. If
The only the reason I'm here is because they have Wi-Fi, and otherwise I'd be on 3G roaming, which I'm sure you guys don't know what that means.
I actually, at present, I do know what that means because the iPhone 13 I ordered after everything got stolen is still like coming sometime maybe before Christmas, and the used iPhone that I purchased is LTE is sketchy at best. So I'm well aware of your pain.
Yeah, well, why did you buy Apple?
I am the poster child of Apple. My apologies. And plus, the Halister will back me on this. Android has more security concerns and loopholes than any device in the market.
That is my understanding.
I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Unfortunately, I'm not saying Apple's a huge privacy advocate anymore. I mean, they used to be pretty good on it. They've changed their stance a little bit recently, but they may still be the best we have, which is going to be yikes.
I was gonna say, knowing what I know about Citadel Air, yeah, I would say he might as well be bought and paid for by Apple. Like, I mean, my husband worked for Apple, and you have more Apple products than he did, and they kept giving it to him.
That's horrible.
I kid you not. Like, so when because he was a senior advisor, one of the Apple Care tech people, and I mean, he got a discount on the watch when it first came out, and then he had like 2 monitors to work from, plus all the keyboard mice and all the accessories that you have to have for Apple. And then we had our iPhones. That was it. And I'm like, you were like, yeah, so this, and this is gone, and I have to do X, Y, Z. And then just knowing what I know about you, I'm like, how is that possible? Like, yeah, I think you're bought and paid for by Apple.
Well, to be frank, it's things. I mean, it's. I'm not in a shill for Apple, but like some of the stuff, okay, so some of the stuff ages really well. It's kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
it's kind of like a BMW. Like it may not be like the newest and fastest, but like I still had. Well, I had up until unfortunate events, my MacBook Pro from like circa 2013 that was still functioning. It was diesel, like it was dropped. It was it was not the fastest thing, but it was indestructible and it performed just like new. So I wouldn't necessarily just toss my old Apple devices when I got a new one because I could still get life out of to some extent the older devices because they would just keep plugging away.
Oh no, 100%. I mean, I gave my daughter one of my old iPhone when I upgraded. It has like a cracked back, like the screen's not cracked, it works fine. But she uses that now for like different apps that are, for kids or whatever. I mean, my child is so spoiled. She better be happy she's an only child. Because she has her regular Android tablet and she's learning an iPhone, so the iOS system too. And then she also knows how to work a computer now, so she's set.
When does her podcast debut?
I'm thinking about it. When she gets a little bit more articulate with her words, because I'm just gonna say this right now. She's been watching the Peanut movie that's on Disney, and she came up to me the other day and she was like, Mama piss," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, what'd you say?" And she points to the TV and she's like, "Piss," and I'm like, "Peanuts. That's what you need." I was like, okay, we got to work on this word, and so now it's still no. There's no. It's just yeah.
You know what? Even as an adult, it happens to the best of us. How good is your Spanish?
Mm, poquito.
All I'm gonna say is the first time when I was traveling abroad, and at this juncture I'm fluent in Spanish and a couple other languages, but I thought I mean, I thought I had it covered, but um, the
Oh
Castilian
no.
Spanish word for comb and hair, rather comb and, well, not hair, excuse me, male anatomy is
Uh
only
huh.
a slight pronunciation difference. So when you walk into a pharmacy and ask him if he has a comb, but not really a comb, and he's like, "Yeah, I have a comb." And I'm like, "Well, where is the comb?" I asked him, "Where is the comb?" And he got a little uncomfortable. I was like, "I need a comb. I need to buy a comb."
No.
It went on for about 5 minutes until he realized that this was no longer funny, and you just changed the emphasis on one of the vowels slightly, and
Well, I mean, it's just like años and años, like
right.
years and anus. Like, yeah, well, it gets kind of funny when you start telling people you have 26 anuses. So yeah.
It's not as bad as standing
No.
in a pharmacy and having this like 40, 50-year-old guy turn beet red and be like, "Why do you want my junk?"
Oh shoot. Well, and
uh,
then and that's something I found with like French. So because I took French in college, and I mean it's not even just about learning another foreign language, but when I was taking it, we had to learn Canadian, Louisiana, you know, sorry, not Louisiana, like New Orleans type dialect, and then we have France. I'm going. I'm sorry, but there's too many dialects here. Can we just focus on one? Because at this point, because at that point I had Spanish and I had sign language, and now I actually learned my French alphabet before I learned my English alphabet because of my sister. Um, thank you very much. Going into my kindergarten teachers, she's like, we're going to study our alphabet, and I was like, I know how to, and said it all in French. And she goes, can you say your English alphabet? And I was like, nope. Epic fail. But so I get it. That is pretty great though. Did he actually make you an offer? Did he was like, here, I'm gonna just pull it out and here you go? Like,
no, no, the Spaniards are very polite, and he didn't correct me, but he definitely took me through the aisle where I would be able to find a comb, and then it occurred to me probably about a half an hour after the fact, while I was on my way. That was certainly not one of my finer moments, but these are things that happen to me on a regular basis.
that is great. To be a fly on the wall would be great.
The better part was the friends I were with. One native Spaniard and two from the States that knew exactly what I was saying and doing, and they didn't say a word. Really good friends.
Great friends. I mean, what kind of friends do you have if they don't allow you to just embarrass the hell out of yourself?
That's okay. They bought drinks all after that for the rest of the night, so I was okay with it.
Well, you and the pharmacy worker now have a story, so
Yeah, I
I'm
was.
sure he's told that one a few times.
Yeah, this American like grad student kept coming in and asking for my junk. uh, on that note,
On that note, yeah, I was gonna say, um, I'm surprised you're still going.
Yeah, no, I'm fading fast. So I will pass the torch, or call it a wrap, folks, unless there's any other business on the agenda.
No, I think we covered it for today.
Sweet. Well, it's good to be back in the Twitter universe and Full House Media extravaganza. I think Halister back Wednesday.
Yep. Think of some questions for us, guys. Gotta get some interaction on these things.
I appreciate you guys finally getting back to your Monday and Wednesday settings because I know the community loves you guys.
I mean, I'm sure that I have other embarrassing international travel stories. And remind me on Wednesday I will tell you all how I was felony stopped while entering Mexico at customs and ordered to the ground by whatever their military police are at gunpoint while going into Mexico. I will tell you that story and how my friends immediately dispersed and left me there.
I think you need some new friends.
Those were work friends. This was. I will just say. I will say now that a drug dog alerted on me, but it was not entirely clear why. It was a false alert, but it was nonetheless an entertaining story, which I will share on Wednesday if someone reminds me, because I will certainly forget.
Don't worry, I will definitely remind you.
Fair enough. Halister, anything else, buddy?
No?
Do we want to give anybody a chance to come up? Does anybody want an opportunity to say something?
We gotta let Citadel get some rest.
No, I mean, speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm all for having someone come on, but
Citadel does better with less sleep.
that is a fact. But
He doesn't know what to do. It's too much. So I'm sure, like the last 2 weeks that he's been gone, he's been sleeping, and I'm sure he's just like lost.
that was accurate. That's why I didn't sleep last night. Such is life.
We do have a question coming in from the YouTube, and thank you, Adrian. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Adrian. This Willett, our resident expert, Kenna, who's fluent in many languages as well as logistics. Adrian would like to know when we think the whole supply chain thing will go back to normal. He just wants to know what if he should be stocking up on stuff. And before she answers, if she tells you to go to Costco and buy a pallet of toilet paper, just take that with a grain of salt, because true story, the garage pallet toilet paper, she was fully stocked for at least 2 years. Oh, come on. She went on mute, didn't she? And is doing something else.
I have a crying child, so just give me 1 sec.
I'm very bearish on the supply.
Okay.
Going back to normal.
So,
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Paraphrase that again. What am I thinking about? What?
Supply and demand.
Adrian in the chat answered, but I'm going to answer briefly. Some of the folks that I follow on Twitter, from day one, have been the ones that are very GME, have been going out and buying like mass quantities of stuff in GME, and then plan on reselling it on the gray market, given that like they're going to run out. So they plan on somehow profiting from that. Don't condone the behavior. I salute the entrepreneurialism. They're thinking some of the like hot Christmas stuff will just not be available, given the logistics and supply chain management. That's my take on it. But Adrian was wondering, to our resident logistics queen, who managed to stock like a year's worth or a pallet, year's worth of toilet paper in her garage, what your thoughts are.
It was not a year's worth.
That's debatable. What you think about the whole supply chain management thing? When will it go back to normal? Because Adrian would like to know if he should be stocking up on materials, and
Always.
And what should he be stocking up on besides Costco brand toilet paper products?
It wasn't Costco. It was Sam's. Thank you. And
I stand corrected.
and when you have a 2-year-old, that toilet paper goes very quickly. Um, no. But no, I don't see a normal. Guys, we have like 140 ships plus. I mean, I'll have to get the numbers from Boss, but 140 some odd ships still sitting off the coast of California that have to be unloaded, and there's not enough workers or truck drivers to get that shipment through the country. I even know Vancouver's kind of having a setback too, their port. So I mean, from last time I talked with Boss, it could take anywhere from 2 to 3 years to just unload those ships. And then, that's not accounting for other ships that are supposed to be coming in or anything like that. I mean, it's, I, if you can stock up on, just your non-perishables is what we do. Like we have, paper products, your paper towels, your toilet paper, if you use, whatever. I know some people are like, just get a bidet. Okay, well, not everybody can just do that. But non-perishables, so like your flour, rice, sugar, pasta, things like that is kind of what we keep a supply of. And, obviously, like, every 3 to 6 months you want to rotate it. I mean, we do this anyway for hurricane season. Like, we have to just do this anyway. But it's not a bad thing to start practicing is, keeping rice or, just canned vegetables or anything. You don't, what if we're going into, snow season. Everywhere's starting to get hit with snow. So if you have a power outage, you still want to be able to have food that you can easily make or whatever. It's always good to be stocked, but just don't, if you do it in moderation, if everybody does it in moderation, in a sense, there won't be panic buying. That's what you kind of have to avoid is panic buying. But I think, new normal is for the next 2 years at least, how this is the supply chain, until we actually kind of get everything sorted out. As far as Christmas presents, I hope everyone's already buying. We got our daughters before Thanksgiving. Because I knew, the shelves were already starting to look bare at a lot of our stores. Target that's where we got hers, is from Target. They had their Black Friday for an entire week. And then like Amazon, if you get on there, there's already stuff sold out. If you, go to Costco or Sam's or any of these other places, there's a lot of stuff already sold out. So it's just kind of one of those things that, unfortunately, we're at a point in a lot of places that if you see it now, you can, without really hurting yourself, if you see it now, you kind of have to get it because it might not be there in a couple days. Other than that, I didn't know people were doing that with GameStop in the gray market. That's really just, one, irritating, but two, well, people do what they do. That's why that's why. And then you have this whole, I want people to also start paying attention to what's going on with China and Taiwan. And because Taiwan is, the main semiconductor manufacturing country. So that's pretty huge with a lot of the things we use in our day-to-day basis, and what the company, all these different companies that make products and things, what they need them for. So there's just a lot to watch. So that's where I'm proud of Halister. He is starting to stock up. He's listened to me a little bit.
Yeah, I need to go get more. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, just to add on to it a little bit. I mean, yeah, we've got like you have the ships that we've talked about. I mean, I wonder how much of that stuff is perishable, and if it is, then that could be an issue. When they finally do, get enough staffing to be able to unload and get it back to somewhat normal. I mean, for a lot of things, I mean, I haven't seen like a super direct impact. Like when I order things online, I mean, they might take a little bit longer, but it's still not insane. But logistics wise, not just with the ships, but with the trucks and everything else. I mean, oil prices are going up again. So, OPEC's not releasing oil. So that's going to impact like transportation prices, whether it's, trucking or air. The whole employment situation. Especially with this new variant coming out. Like, that's one thing that I'm kind of watching closely is GDP and just manufacturing. I mean, because we have these like hiccups at certain places in the supply chain, like semiconductors is one of the ones that gets harped on a lot. But so I mean, there's pent up demand for a lot of things, but there have to be workers to go make the things. And so that situation, I mean, should we get to another lockdown type situation, that could be really rough. And I mean, I think it's almost like you think of it as a hose. Like if the supply chain's like a garden hose that's connected to your house, and then it got like a crink in it, right, where it was just bent or whatever. And so, I mean, so far the water started to flow more slowly, but I don't think we've hit the point where it stopped. Like companies' inventories are getting lower. Yes, it's starting to get fixed, like in certain ways, like in terms of the manufacturing side of it, but we're seeing, just that flow slow down. And like, I don't know if it is going to stop. I don't know if we're going to do it, but yeah, I agree with Ken. I mean, I think it's going to be a while before it gets back to normal. But I mean, hopefully it doesn't get worse before it gets better.
Well, and here's a fun fact. Did you know that we actually ship our meat to be processed to China? The vast majority of our meat, there is some still processed here in the States, but a vast majority, like, it ships across seas, processed over there, and then comes back. And the same with, like, some of our actual, like, harvested vegetables and everything. Like, so who knows how much of our, food supply that way is stuck on those ships as well.
Right. I recommend going to your local butcher
Yeah.
and like buying and having them butcher it for you there, because they're probably hurting as well. Buy local. Come on.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Learn how to hunt and fish.
100. If you don't know how to do those things, buy MREs.
Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah, no,
Oh, but they're delicious. Come on now.
They're getting better.
You better buy an entire year supply of, like, things that make you help go to the restroom. Let's just say that. I heard those horror stories from Hambone.
Wash isn't bad, and there's plenty of other ones, and I know they've come out with new ones since I've been out of the military. So, I mean, I'm bullish on MREs.
We have some here, trust me. I don't know any military family that doesn't. But...
Every good location needs at least a 5-year supply of MREs.
Oh, Lord.
I have a working theory here that First Strike is pushing MREs given his profession, so that he has to come in and actually undo the damage that you've done to your plumbing after consuming too many MREs.
Most of the time, it comes out not. It's pretty liquid, so it's usually pretty not.
Okay.
Not.
Okay. TMI.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to not be in the profession very much longer, but I think I have to wait till the Citadel Air LLC versus Citadel litigation thing is done, and then I think I might have a position there as a hostess or something.
We've got you coming in the family office. Don't you worry, buddy.
Yeah.
We've got one last question before we bounce from Adrian again. Thank you for being generous. Your funds will be allocated to the Bull House charitable giving that kind of is more versed in than I. So proceeds do not go to me directly. But we appreciate it nonetheless. I think we're still choosing either the charity or where that's being allocated, if I'm not mistaken. But his question also is now, where he buys his embroidery thread and supplies, they're about to run out, and they have the foggiest idea when they might get another shipment of supplies. He says, "Thank you. I will stock up just so I can keep working."
Yeah, embroidery thread. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was looking at getting my mother an embroidery machine here soon, for Christmas. And then I actually was at which store was I? Hobby Lobby, and Joann's. And you're right, that thread is not really around.
Wait, so do I have, because of the random things I've inherited from my mother?
If you have embroidery thread, you could probably.
I have like half a room full of this stuff. Like, what is this a hot commodity? Can I start like whipping this up on eBay and like monetizing it?
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, unless you want to be charitable and maybe help a little business, like 'cause I know Adrian she does some really great work. But yeah, no, yeah, it's a hot commodity. Thread is a very.
I honestly
Yeah.
have more between the embroidering, sewing machine, and all this other stuff. I know nothing about it, but it's all like vintage and it's all in good condition and a ton of supplies to go with it. So, Adrian, by all means, if you have access to Twitter, you can DM me. If you would prefer to email me, and if I can be of any assistance and get you anything that would help you, you can email me at hello, like HELLO, at CitadelAir.com. And I will be happy to send you anything that would help you out, because honestly, I don't know if I'll be sewing or embroidering anytime soon.
No? Oh, come on. I thought you were making ourselves t-shirts and shit.
No, that's when I go to jail for, I don't know, defying Kenny's thing, and I'll be making your license plates. Don't worry about it.
Oh, Lord. Well, no, I mean, you don't have to make it under. I mean, you could be a sole proprietor and then just.
Touche, touche.
But no, that's very kind of you. But yes, that is a hot commodity. If you do want to try to sell some of it, and it's.
Yeah, we're out over here too. I just heard my mother-in-law saying that she couldn't find anything, so
And
it's definitely.
sorry, and I know somebody in Indiana is also having problems finding embroidery thread. So yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say I know some quilters. I know some quilters that I may or may not be related to that have also talked about thread. I didn't know we were all experts on the thread industry, but
well,
it is interesting.
I do sew and everything. I just don't embroider.
I'm just an expert through my mother-in-law.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, same here.
Both sides, actually, from both her real mom and her stepmom, both. So yeah, I get it from both sides there.
And apparently, I have stuff that people want that I never knew anyone ever needed. So,
It's kind of like that sock craze on eBay. Like people were buying like used socks or something like a decade ago, and then eBay had to put a stop to it because it's weird.
you're thinking of those vending machines in Japan that sell the underwear dispensers
No, that's
now.
just wrong. That is wrong on so many levels.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got the two confused somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
So, do they need plumbers over there? They're obviously buying underwear from vending machines. They obviously have an issue.
No, these are special. These are special pre-worn. If you catch my drift, buddy.
Oh, okay. So like men wear them all over the place, and then they try and sell them out of the vending machines.
No, I don't think it's men.
No, I think we'll leave it at that, given the nature of our precarious relationship with our content provider. Partnership agreements, as I was informed earlier, to be on my best behavior.
Oh, we're trying to figure out that gray area that we can actually float between.
I think we're, as I told you on the phone earlier, I think I was good at approaching that line, but I'm not about to pole vault over it. So on that note, Adrian, in all seriousness, please feel free to reach out if I can send anything your way. I would be happy to do so and give it a good home and put it to use, because inevitably it'll probably end up at Savers here or something, and I feel like if I can put it to better use within the community, I would be very happy to do so. That offer is good for, I guess, for Strike's mother-in-law and Halister's knitting group at work.
Okay, that was good. I'm gonna give that one to you. Poor Halister. Halister, do you feel abused? Are we creating a hostile work environment for you?
Yeah, just I'm going to Karen from HR too.
I mean, if you're going to Karen HR and about a hostile work environment, you're going to really appreciate what a hostile work environment is by the time she's done with you.
Yeah,
You got to be careful. Karen only works like Monday from like 9 to 5, but her door's always locked. I think Citadel's always in there, so I think you have to like get an appointment.
Whoa. Nope, Citadel, that's an off limits joke. I gotta respect my future sister, basically. Once I get to meet her finally.
Wait, what? Did I miss something?
Citadel's married.
Who would?
This is somehow shocking to people.
Citadel's married. No affair jokes. That's wrong.
She's like a psychiatrist, so I'm sure that that's like a perfect match.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll call it therapy. Oh, he's talking about the wife. He is correct. Yes, but no, I do. She does not give me therapy. Thank you.
I am biting my tongue.
I know you are, and I'm just going to stop you right there.
All right. So that will conclude tonight, guys. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you, Halister. On Wednesday, I'd like an update on the knitting group. If you can snap some photos, that would be super. I'll whip them up on